Good evening, everybody. It's the Saints man, small van driver on the CX. It's Sunday night. This is 8:10. I just haven't had time to do it. This is God knows when this will go out. I'll try and get it downloaded and make it shorter because it gets it downloaded quicker and you'll get it quicker. But week in the life of starting Monday the 5th December. The title of this is local jobs, staying local. Because of the weather, really, tramping in this is just not a viable option. Even without a bulkhead and getting the heat come through, it's just too cold. So I'd already made my mind up. This time of the year, really, around when it gets colder, I don't tramp. Very rarely, unless it's worth tramping. Or I'll get an hotel, which I don't really like doing. I just don't. If I'm working till 8, 9 o'clock at night and getting an hotel just for a few hours, paying 40, 50 quid, no 20 quid hotels, don't work. So let's start Monday. I'd already got a job booked in from Northampton to North London. Good pay. And I actually took a tin of paint. One tin of paint. It was specialised paint for rendering for outside of a house, but it went to a residential address in London. 10 litre tin of specialist rendering paint. He buggered it up on the Friday or something. It had all run and he had to redo it and he wanted some paint. So I got that job done. And North London is, I don't mind doing North London. I know North London quite well. So I was looking for a job anywhere back. And I got a job actually out of Surrey, which was right round to the west side of London. But it wasn't that far. I was north, sort of just the bottom of the motorway, round Barnet way. So round the circular. And I've quoted really good money on this job. And it was to Tring. I didn't think I'd get it. I got no hope of getting it, and I did. The shipper was like a bit panicky. It had been posted twice, and it was just 5 boxes to Tring. And with me getting there, it was good mileage, good pence per mileage. And then I was looking for a job, and I picked one up pretty much straight away from Hemel Hempstead to Watford. So I was darting around a bit between jobs, doing a bit of dead miles, but I was still getting really good pence per mile. So, and I mean really good pence per mile. And I got to Watford. And then I got another job after that. I'd already got this job booked in after that, and it was a job from Harpenden to Northampton, which took me to within 3 miles of home. And I booked this job in when I was doing the Surrey to Tring job because I thought if I didn't get anything from Tring, I was just going to go across to Harpenden, which weren't far, and sit around for a couple of hours and do the Northampton job. But the Hemel Hempstead to Watford was a plumber's merchant to another plumber's merchant, just moving a stock, and I knew I could fit it in. So it slotted perfectly Monday. It really did. I did 230 miles. In the end, I did 11 hours. And it was 7 hours drive. But my average, I'll tell you what, I got 91 pence every single mile from leaving home to getting home. I got 91 pence, which is for a small van for doing a lot of mileage, was really good. And I'd got something booked in for Tuesday, Monday afternoon. A shipper phoned me up and said, "Do I fancy doing a job to Birmingham? Birmingham on Tuesday, but picking it up Monday night." And it was a pallet. It was a pallet, small pallet, nothing special. Pick it up from Northampton, which I did. I went and picked it up, took it home, and I had to deliver it early to Birmingham, Solihull, which is a really good area. Solihull, round there, it's a good area. Birmingham, you're looking to get a good job out of there. And it so happened I did. I got a job from Birmingham, just the other side. I went to a DHL depot, and I'd got a reference number, and it was going to a residential address in Banbury, and it was 2 boxes. Again, good money, and Banbury is okay. Banbury's a pretty good area. You can get back to Coventry, you can get to Daventry, you can get to Brackley, Bicester. They're all sort of around that area. But I'd already when I'd got to Solihull, I'd already see there was a job there, Lutterworth, going down to car parts it was, and it ended up at Luton. But it was later in the day, so again, I've bid on it, I bid strong, I ain't got it. But I got a big gap between, and I could do the Birmingham to Banbury, that delivery, and then Banbury had to travel up to Lutterworth to do it. So I couldn't get nothing back any closer. So I did a fair bit of dead miles, but the Lutterworth one finished at Luton. It was drop Northampton, drop Bedford, drop Luton. And when I got there with about 30 minutes to spare to Lutterworth. And there's a few drivers in there because they're all doing the same. It's car parts. And one of them, I stood chatting with one, and he went, "Are you got a YouTube channel?" I said, "I have." And I can't for the life of me think of the gentleman's name. I apologise to him because he's a subscriber. It's either it's Clive or something like that. All I know is he's based in Corby. He's got a lovely Vauxhall Combo. He's a lovely bloke. We had a good chat. We had a good chat for a while. He's doing okay. He's been on there a while. He's got a lovely Vauxhall Combo. I think it's a 21 plate. Might have been 20 plate. Yeah, very impressed. Short wheelbase like mine. Top of the range. And he was getting over 60 to the gallon. He showed me 62 he was getting. So it's more economical than my little Citroen Malinga. But yeah, lovely bloke. Sorry, if it isn't Clive, you have to put a comment on it who you are. If you're still subscribing, I hope you are. Just put a comment and I'll just apologise about your name. I'm rubbish with names and I should remember. I'm sure it was Clive. Who's Clive? Gary, might have been Gary. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on both. Anyway, so I did the car parts to Luton and I was there. It took me a long while, the last one, because there was a problem in Luton. There's been a police incident. But we got it delivered and a good day. A good day. And with the 2 days together, I was over target just about. I booked a job Wednesday. I got home. What time did I get home? 4:30. And I pulled on the drive and I checked the feed, and there was a job going from Northampton to it said Watford. It was Manor Way, which is you go down the M25, swing a left, and it's a couple of junctions down, and it was a pallet. And it wasn't a mega heavy pallet, it was nothing special. I booked it, I say, the night before and got good money again, so I was happy with that. Then I was looking for a job and I got a job out of Hoddesdon, don't know, not far away from where I was, going to Henley-on-Thames. But the only problem was, again, there was a job on there that I'd seen on the way down Luton to Northampton later on in the day, I think it was picking up about 3:30. And this was early in the day. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to bid on that now. And I phoned and got the job at a really good rate. And so I've got like a 4-hour window. It's something I've tried before. It hasn't worked out, where I haven't got a job closer and I've had to travel 60 odd mile. But I did. I got a job. The job to Henley-on-Thames was a little bit further away than where I wanted to be. It was this side of Henley-on-Thames. But that was as close I got. And I booked this job, Hoddesdon to Henley-on-Thames, did it. And it was in the middle of nowhere. And it was to a farm, a farm they were doing up. And I took sheets from an engineering company. And they engineered some device for inside the house. I don't know what it was. But it was the middle of nowhere. And although it was only sort of 35, 40 miles away, it was 45 miles. As the crow flies, the quickest route was down the M40 or M4 up the M25, back up the M1. So I did I did sort of nearly 45, 50 miles. But I'd got a job home. Luton to Northampton took me home, and it was right into the centre. It was a solicitor to another solicitor, right in the centre of Northampton. It takes me 5 miles from home. And when you're not tramping, I will do that. I will try and get a job later in the day. If I see one to Northampton or one to Wellingborough, I'm going to try and jump on it, and then I'm going to try and get a job to that area, the second job of the day. So it worked out okay. Pence per mile was still okay. Thursday, that was Wednesday. So I've had 3 good days. Wednesday was my least productive day. and it still weren't too bad. Thursday, I'd picked a job up. I'd bid on a couple of jobs, and Thursday I got one from Northampton going to Kidlington. Again, it was going to. It wasn't going to. It was going to a merchant's, a plumber's merchant's in Kidlington. I've done the job before from Northampton. It was the same plumber's merchant. It's taking one heavy metal block that lifts. They lift on these cranes, on these cherry pickers, and it's the block where they put the four chains on the four corners. It's that block. It was heavy. It was like 300 kilos, but it was all fine. And that was to Kidlington. And then I got a job, Abingdon, which weren't too far away. It was about 15 mile, 10 mile, 15 mile to Daventry. And I've done this job before, but I've done it the other way round. Same company, Daventry to Kidlington. This time I'm doing Kidlington to Daventry. It was okay. I got good money for it. And I was halfway to Daventry with it. And I thought, this might be my job and that's it. That might be the end of it because I'm near home. There's nothing out of Daventry. I don't really want to travel too far away from home and I couldn't think of anything. But I hadn't quite got to Daventry. I was about 5 mile away. And the phone went and it was the shipper I was working for. I'd got 6 big boxes on the back. They got these little metal tubes in. And they sit in these boxes. And I was taking them and he phoned and he says, Dave, I can see you. You know, you're doing this job for us at the moment. I went, yeah. Was there a problem? He went, no. He says, would you be interested? They want a return to go back to Abingdon. And I went, I can do. Yeah. I says, the money. I said, I want the money the same as going. I says, because I'm at Daventry. I'm only 15, 20 miles from my house. Going to Abingdon, I'm 50 plus miles to my house. And he agreed straight away. He said, it's not a problem. That's fine. He says, that's sorted. So I thought, why not? No dead miles, is there? I'm picking up from the firm where I've just dropped and going back. And it was a quick 5-minute turnaround. They took these boxes off and put more on. Empty ones to take back. So that worked out well. And I'm in Abingdon. I'm thinking I might struggle now out of Abingdon. And on the way down, I looked and I was getting close to Abingdon. And a job popped up from Abingdon, which is not the biggest area south of Oxford, going to Milton Keynes. And I thought, that's ideal because that's getting me near home. I quickly checked on drivers. There was a long wheelbase driver in Abingdon and there was a short wheelbase driver who was on red, so he wasn't available. And there was a couple of drivers in Oxford and there was one in Reading. One or two in Reading, but that's a bit of a distance. So still quite good money. And before I'd even dropped the empties back, I got a phone call to say, can you do this Kidlington for us for the money? I went, I can. I said, I'm actually just coming into Kidlington to deliver. I said, so once I'm delivered, I said, I can jump straight on it. Yep, no problem. They sent the job over. So I accepted the job, didn't look where it was from, where it's going to. Pulled up into Kidlington, there's a main, where all the business parks are, just to the left, right off the motor, A34, not the motorway. And I took that one and I looked at the job and I put the postcode in quickly and it said you are 150 yards away. It was 3 buildings up. And the company I went to, I've picked up from there before. I know it's not a massive package stuff I've took. It's always been light and it's bodywork or fiberglass or something like that. It's some fiberglass. And I took it to a company in Milton Keynes, my side of Milton Keynes. And when I say my side, Northampton side of Milton Keynes, which means I'm only probably 15 miles from my house. So it worked out really well Thursday with that job. The return worked out well. Got good money on that. I got good money going to Kidlington. I just had a good day. One of them good days where it doesn't happen. It doesn't fall in your lap a lot, but it did. And I was home. I set off at 8 in the morning and I was home by 4:15. So it's a nice steady day. No aggro, not millions of miles. My mileage this week's been really steady because I'm doing locals all week. There were jobs, don't get me wrong. There were jobs to Devon. There was loads of jobs to Scotland this week. It's too far. I ain't bothered. It's where there's pants. Anyway, before I got home, again I had a phone call. Thursday afternoon. I hadn't quite got home. It was about 4:45. I was just about to pull over and I get some fuel on the way home. It was my UK fuels. It's that way I was coming home. And a phone went and it was a shipper saying, are you got anything on tomorrow? I said, no, I haven't yet. I'm just about to look. He says, because we've got a job. If you're interested, but you need to pick it up from Wellingborough tonight if you could. It worked out perfect because I was almost home. It's only 10 mile up my way. And I says, yeah, we can do that. And the job from Wellingborough I was picking up in the morning was going past my house along the A45 past Northampton because it was going to Wallingford, which again is Oxfordshire. So I was going to be in Oxfordshire again Friday morning. It was one box and I've got to go to a water tower to meet an engineer. It said 8 o'clock originally, meet at 8 o'clock, which suited me, I don't mind. And then they says, can you make it 8:30 because the engineer ain't going to be there till 8:30? I went, yeah, it's fine. So that was that was Thursday. I'd done 3 jobs, well, 4 really, because I had the wait and return, although it's only 1 job, it seemed like 2. So I was on a really good Thursday. But again, local. I'm not earning mega money. I'm not doing a 300 plus day or 350, but I'm not far. I'm not far from target. I was just under. Not far under. I was under by. What was I under by? I was under by target over average of about 40 quid under, but I'm just doing local stuff. I'm not being out till 10 o'clock at night. And I've got a job for Friday morning, which gets me a good start to Friday. Now, Friday, which was 2 days ago, it was a grueler. It was a grueler. It was all going hunky dory. In fact, it ended up okay, but it was just being pissed about a bit. I did the job to the water tower. I phoned the engineer. I got there 8 o'clock anyway because I got there before the traffic hit. And I found the water tower. You can't really miss it. It's a bloody huge thing, concrete, 50, 60 foot in the air. Found that, parked up. I thought I'll wait around for him. I thought, well, I'll phone him, tell him I'm here. He says, if there's anyone, there should be someone on the site. There's 2 guys. He named them. He said, there should be a van. He says, if you want, he says, because I'm not even going to get there for 8:30. So I found him out and I asked his name and he was one of the names he mentioned. I said, you're working on the tower? He said, yeah, I'm working with this engineer, named him. I says, he said, I've phoned him. Can you take this for him and sign for it? Save me waiting around? No problem. So what I do when it's like that, I instantly phone the original engineer to say who I've left it with. And he said, yep, I know him, he's fine. And I took a photo of the van. In fact, it was a pickup. I took a photo of the pickup, got the registration number, just in case he does a funny and runs off with the stuff. I've got authorization from the customer. And then I phone the shipper and tell them exactly the same. They're happy enough. They said, yeah, I've got the name of the person who's collected it. There's a photo of his van. And the customer who booked it, the engineer, is happy with that. And that's all you can do. Then I got a job from High Wycombe, which from Wallingford was a bit of distance. And I quoted that in the price of the job. And it was going to Harpenden, just south of Luton. I can't remember the road, but it's a nice village. And it was going from one plumber's merchant and it was going to a residential address with a boiler. I've done about 3 of these in the last 2 weeks and a few parts, plumbing parts. And I went to a residential address in Harpenden. Big house. Sure enough, the boiler a bit knackered and plumber was on site, and so they were pleased because they were going to get hot water. And I sat at Harpenden and I thought I'm going to drive up to Luton because Harpenden is quiet. Luton, there's a Greggs on a place called Capability Green. It's a business park. There's a Greggs there. Really posh business park right by Airport Way where the dual carriageway is. And I like perching there. A, you can get a Greggs coffee. And B, you're a really close area to jump on the motorway, jump down into Luton. It's just a nice perching spot. And a job popped up. I just got a coffee and a sausage roll. Job popped up. Bedford to Huntingdon. And I was 20 miles away. And Huntingdon was plus 20. It was 23-mile job. I quoted really strong on it, thinking, never going to get that. Didn't even think I'd get it. Phone went, can you get to Bedford? I explained where I was, how long it'd take me. They said, it's absolutely fine. It's within the next hour. And it's one envelope from one solicitor to another. And I thought, brilliant. Because Huntingdon's 30 miles from the house. I hadn't got mountains of money that day. With this job, I was going to be well under me 1,000. I was going to be sort of 110 quid. About 80 quid, 70 quid under 1,000, something like that. That's what yeah, about 70 quid under my 1,000. But I thought, you know what, it's fine. I ain't done much mileage. I sat at Huntingdon, I sat at Brampton at services because I burst in for the toilet. And a job popped up from Bedford to Huntingdon. Well, I was 23 miles away because I'd already, and it was going back to Huntingdon. I thought, it's 46 miles. So I quoted quite strong on it with the mileage I was there. I'll tell you what, I quoted 40 quid. And it was only a 23-mile job. And I thought, I quote 40 quid because I'm doing 46 miles. I'll get that and then I can go home. I thought, I won't get it. But I thought, I'll hang around Huntingdon for a bit. Nothing happens. Then I'll just go home. And my phone went and it was the shipper. And he says, you're right to do this job? And Huntingdon, he says, I'm going to ask you something. We've got another pickup from the same place. It's exactly the same place picking up. It's going to Cambridge. He says, would you do that as well? I says, I'll do it. No problem. I said, but I will be delivering the Cambridge first and then Huntingdon. I'm not delivering Huntingdon then Cambridge because I am 50 or 60 miles from home. I said, with the one doing it the other way around, I'm 30 miles from home. Last job of the day. I says, but I'll do it. But if it's too much money for you, then I'll just do the Huntingdon. And he went, no, that's fine. He says, I'll send both jobs. He said, what I'll do, I'll put this money on, I'll separate the jobs. He said, but they're both picking up the same place. And I went, yeah, okay then, we'll do that. And I thought, that's got me in my target. And then he dropped the little bombshell. He says, you got to pick up from Bedford Hospital. And I went, what, in two different separate places? I said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, where am I delivering to in Cambridge? Are you delivering to Addenbrooke's Hospital? Now, if anyone on here knows Addenbrooke's Hospital, it's next to Papworth. I've done it once. And it is enormous building. And in the light, it's bad enough. Getting there in the dark, yeah, it can be a real logistical nightmare. So I said to him, I says, it's fine. I says, but there could be time issues here. They said, no, it's fine. You'll be fine. And I went, you sure? I said, well, okay. Send me the job over, but I will be doing Cambridge then, Huntingdon, and it's all okay. Yep. So that's what I did. I went to Bedford Hospital. I was in Huntingdon, remember, so I got a bit away. I got 25, 30 minutes. Got to Bedford Hospital, parked up by the main entrance. I've got floor 1 and floor 2 to pick up from. It's samples, bloods, all this. And I was in and out quite quick for an hospital. You could be there ages, but I was in and out in, I don't know, less than 20 minutes. That's from leaving the van to getting back to the van, 20 minutes. I've got one box for the Huntingdon and I've got 4 different lots for Cambridge. And then I looked at the Cambridge and it was 2 drops in Addenbrooke's Hospital. It was different places. So I thought, this is... And anyway, I phoned the shipper again and says, you do realise this is 2 drops in Addenbrooke's? Yeah, and what they'd done, they'd adjusted me money and they'd give me another £5, which... Yeah, it was the same Addenbrooke's Hospital, just 2 departments. I says, that's fair enough. I says, but it's going to create a time issue. He said, I hope this Huntingdon's going to be okay. Yeah, it's fine. He said, no worries. So off I went, got to Addenbrooke's. It was semi-light. Didn't know where to find this department, pathology. I pulled in where it said research, and it's about 2 mile round. I pulled in, I thought, I'm just going to ask someone. And I went in and I said to this bloke, I says, I know this ain't the right place, and I showed him my CX where I've got to go. Can you help me? He says, no. He's a Greek bloke. He's a lovely man from Greece. And he said, no. He says, I've worked here for 2 years, but he said, all I work in is cancer research in this block. He says, and I'll use the code. He says, but we'll phone. So he phoned on this internal system. And he asked the lady, and he got a map. He got a lot of maps for people. And she directed, she said, he wants to go here. And I said, what about the second place? She said, well, that is upstairs, but they won't be there. They'll be gone home on that one. She says, but you should be able to take it to the first one. I said, great. So it's dark now. It's dark. It's 4:30. It's dark, 4:20. So I says, right, where's the best place to put my van now? And he says, I think you want to leave it here. He says, and walk round. He says, I'll walk you around to where near my car is, and I can point where you got to go past A&E. And he was a really nice bloke. And sure enough, he pointed, and I found it. And it wasn't too long. It was a good walk. It was about 700-800 yards outside, but it was easier than moving the van. So we done that, and sure enough, she took the one for the separate department, which was upstairs. They'd gone home. This one, the pathology one's open late. So I dropped that off. She signed me PODs. Back to the van. Jumped in the van. Put the address fronting done in. It said you're going to get there at 5:20, 5:25. So I'm thinking, okay. He said it's okay. Drive up to Huntingdon. Pulls round to the company. It's on a business park. It's a big company and it is shut. Pulled on up to the reception doors, the whole place, and it's a big unit, complete darkness. So I found I found the company on Google, which I found it on. Found the phone number. No answer. Nothing. And phone again, and it went to an answer machine. So we're now closed until Monday. Great. I've got a box in the back of my van for them, and I can't deliver it. So I phoned the shipper up, and eventually got through because I found a mobile number that they give me if it was out of hours, which after 5 got to the outside. They hadn't got a clue, bless them, because they'd just come on. I told him exactly what the job was, my 6 number, what I'm doing. They're shut. What do you want me to do with the box? He said, I'll have to chat with control, try and find a customer or someone to come and get it off you. Customer to come and get it off you. I'll phone you back. That was at 5:25. And he phoned me back at 5:55. And he says, I haven't forgot you. He said, I'm really trying to sort this out. He said, but I've got about 3 other 6 drivers who they've got there and places they've gone to, they've gone home. And I went, well, can you make a decision one way or the other, what you want me to do? I said, because this is my last drop of the day. I want to go home. I'm cold. He said, and he was fine, apologetic, but we weren't getting nowhere. I waited it was at 6:25. Yeah, it was 6:12, and he phoned me again, and he says, I'm really sorry. He said, we're trying to work out. He says, I have spoke to the customer, which was obviously Bedford Hospital, I presume. And he says, can you take it back for us to Bedford Hospital? I went, I suppose. I says, they know I'm coming. Yeah. So I spoke to him. He says, and you can take it back there. He says, they're going to take it back. And I went, okay. I says, but I did say there was always going to be Cambridge and Huntingdon. I said there would be time problems. Fair enough. He said, no, there's no worries. He said, I've wrote it in the notes so people know. I said, well, I'll write it in mine. So I took it back to Bedford Hospital. It's only 20 odd mile away, half an hour journey. And I got back there, and this one I'd collected from the second floor, and the one on the first, they'd gone home. But where I collected the other one from in Bedford Hospital, the floor below, they were still there. And I took it to them, and I explained the situation. She knew nothing about it, but she said, I'll take it off you. You can see if it can't be delivered, I'll have it back here. So she signed my POD that I'd returned it, and then I phoned the shipper again. And this is what you need to do. You need to cover your backside. I went out into the car park, and I just wanted to go home, but I thought, no, sit here, phone the shipper again on this number. And the bloke who I spoke to had now gone off duty. It was a lady. And I told her, explained, and she said, I'll just look up the job. I said, well, I saw my 6 number, what the job number was. And he hadn't put nothing. He hadn't put anything about notes, phoning, jack shit. I said, well, he told me he'd phoned someone at Bedford and he told me to take it back. I didn't get his name, I said. She said, well, I know, who was on. She says, not a problem. He's done the right thing. I asked her name to cover me. I says, I've got this lady to sign it at Bedford Hospital. He'd altered the money. That was the best thing. He put the money, because I said, if I'm taking it back to Bedford, I want the money, same money going back. I've waited best part of an hour. And he agreed straight away. And he altered the CX straight away. But, yeah, there's no way. At Bedford in this lab, no one knew nothing about it. This lady didn't know, and this bloke. But they were good enough to say, no, we'll take it back. So they took it back in. And I phoned the shipper. And I wrote it on my POD. I put in the driver's notes. I hadn't delivered it. Business closed. The reason why. And, I covered myself. So I was fine. but it was a bloody late night. It made it a real late night. It made me a 14-hour day that day, but I got really good money. And it covered me and got me home my target. But it's just a pain. It's just a bit of a pain. When you want to get home, you're so close to home, you can just go home. But hey, got me over target, so I'm not going to moan too much. But that's 2 Fridays on the trot. I finished at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And I like to finish early Friday, but I stayed local all week, last week. And also, while I was sitting waiting for him to phone me, I've got a job for Monday, tomorrow. And I'm picking up in Northampton at 8 o'clock to deliver a Solihull. So I'll be in Birmingham, really nice area. Again, the weather's pants next week. It's bloody freezing. I'm staying local. I'm going to stay within a 60 mile radius of Northampton. Just might not meet my target, but I'll be okay. Anyway, that was my week. So Friday was a grueler, but it was money, good money. I totaled 1,292 miles in total, 5 days. By the way, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I did 20 jobs, 20 small jobs. So 4 jobs a day, averaged. 20 jobs. I did 1,292 miles. I did 50 hours in total. So 10-hour days they were. Every day was 10 hours, although some were shorter than some were long. My driving was 35 hours. So I did quite a bit of driving in them short bases. And I got 1,039. And that last job, the hospital fiasco bit, it got me over the line. So I was really pleased. And I averaged 80 pence every mile. My average was 80 pence. That's the highest average I've had. Doing locals, I averaged 72, 75, 69. You know, it's worked out all right. It's been okay. And with that, that's 1,246 and 80 pence. And then I paid 112 because I paid 9% to the HMRC. I'm on the flat rate scheme and I keep 11. That's for the first year. Then it's 10% each way after that. It was good. My fuel cards are coming down again. I'm in a bit of shock at the moment. I mean, I paid last week with VAT, with 20% VAT, 157.23. Next week's fuel figures, my lowest card is 127.59, which with 20% is 153.10. So I'm going to be paying 153. That compensates for dead miles. My little Citroen is averaging 56 to the gallon. 56 miles per gallon. That's right. Yeah, 56 miles per gallon. So it's doing pretty well. So a gallon at 153 is £6 about £6.80 roughly, 4.5 in it to a gallon litres. So 153, double it, 306, 612, and half of that, 75, 680, so that's 690. So every 50 miles is £6.90. Well, you can live with that. You can live with that. I know it's depreciation of the van and the time if you've got 50 dead miles, but yeah, it's a lot better than what it was, let's put it that way. So Monday I've got a job. It's been a good week. This time of year I tend to stay a lot more local anyway. If it's not too cold, I still tramp. I would tramp. But I'm not interested in doing long distance stuff because it's just weather's abysmal. I think there's more traffic jams because it's dark, it's raining, or people can't see. The sun has been a pain this week, really low sun bouncing off the road. Yeah, so I just stay in local. And I'll probably will next week as well because the week after that, it's the week before Christmas Day. It is. Although I would probably say I'm going to be working for the next 2 weeks, right up to the 23rd. And then I don't work between Christmas and New Year unless there's a wait and return. Because it's just, I've been doing it 2 years and it just ain't worth your while travelling to Manchester and sitting there and not getting a load back and having to drive back empty. It just ain't worth it. So that's it. Hope you're having a good week. Oh, also, I must thank Neil and Neptune Couriers. My insurance for the van is due on the 15th and 12th. My insurance company come back with two quotes. I've been with them for 2 years and they've just put it up again. Well, they put it up by quite a bit. And Neil, I've watched one of his videos, which was you go and compare the van insurance market. Well, compare the market it is. You look at one of his videos about van insurance, and there is compare the market for cars and bikes. There's one for vans. And I filled it all in. I spent one night about half an hour filling all the form in, what I've got, 2 years no claims on the van, blah blah blah, and the quotes come back dramatically cheaper. And when I looked again, I looked into it and I decided to go with one. And it saved me a good wedge of money. And I mean a good wedge of money. And they phoned me up the next day and it's all good. It's all I need is my no claims discount, which I can't get off my original company until the 15th or 12th. They'll send it. And they asked me what I've left them for. And I says, because it's a significant amount of money cheaper than what you quoted. I says, I've been with you for 2 years and you've put it up and up and up. I said, oh, we looked around, that's the best we could do. What could you do? How much cheaper did you get it for? I said, a significant amount for me to move. I said, we're talking hundreds. And he went, oh, he says, could we not quote, see if we can get you a cheaper quote? I went, no. I said, no. Do it the first time. And I might not even looked, but I have looked and and I'm really happy. So Neil at Neptunes, also look at his videos. He does videos. Cheers, Neil, because you saved me a good wedge of money. I will send you up something in the post. Whether you get it or not, I doubt it, but I'll send something. But anyway, I spoke to Neil and I thanked him, and we had quite a conversation. How you can probably save a bit of money, and it's helped me. So I hope you're all doing well. I've still rambled on for 36 minutes. Sorry about that. If you do like and you want to subscribe, that would be really good. It gets out there. I just try and help people. I do what I do. It suits me. And I tell you what I do. It may not suit other people. You may not earn the money. You don't want to work. I work hard. I do 50 hours a week. And because I'm doing it for 2 years, I tend to know where I'm going. I've got massive feedback of over 350 and all positives. So does that help? I think it does. And the longer you're on it, I think the easier it becomes. But it's how I do it. It's not, you're not going to make mountains of money, but I'll make a living. So that's what it is. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'll do another one next week. So I won't say Merry Christmas yet because we're nowhere near Christmas, even though we've got presents wrapped for the kids. Don't ask me what our wife does all that. I don't do anything. I'm in the actual spare room. This is the kids' room, as you can see by over here. That's their swimming stuff, their shark life things. And it's all crap here and everything like that. So I hope you all have a good weekend. I've been to a Christmas fair all day today at Hinchcliffe House. It was packed. Wife loved it, but I watched England football. Been a real disappointing Saturday actually. My team, the Saints, got battered in France, and England got beat 2-1 by France. But hey, life goes on. Anyway, cheers.